Have you ever been gaming or working online classes and your internet service constantly gets interrupted? First Nations Fiber is about to ensure that just won't happen again. Get ready for high speed at a new level. Click on fnfiber.com and sign up today. First Nations Fiber, empowering people through connectivity.
And welcome to Kwakaratón, the Ganawagi Tourism Podcast here on your USA's podcast channel. And today we're joined by Kimberly Cross-Zachary, Leilani Shaw, and
Pierre Canapé
from
Indigenous Tourism
Quebec. Mm-hmm. All right. And we're going to talk about a couple of different things, I believe. But one of the biggest, I think, the topic why Pierre's calling in and why Leilani is here is there was some Indigenous markets held recently, and they were not held near here.
No, they were pretty far away. So first off, before we get started, I'd like to do a little bit of an introduction so everybody knows who we are that we're talking to. So y'all pretty much know me if you're listening into our podcast. I'm always here. So I'm Kimberly, Tourism Development Manager, and today we have Leilani Shaw.
Yep. Hi, welcome. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Leilani, and I guess how you're involved in this, what's your role in this market?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Leilani. I'm from Mohawk, and I was very lucky to be a featured artist in the Brussels Winter Market. So I had a visual arts piece that is playing every single night in Brussels as part of the Indigenous market. So, yeah.
Cool. And Pierre, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, my name is Pierre Canapé. I'm a development advisor at Indigenous Tourism Quebec. And we're still taking part, in fact, because at the winter market, we're there for like 5 weeks until the end of December. Each week, we invite artists from each nation here in Quebec. So nice to be with you today.
And Pierre, where are you from?
I'm from the community of Pessamit. I'm a Innu from Pessamit up on the Côte d'Or.
Cool. So, yeah, I guess if you want to give a little bit more information, Pierre, about the markets and how that came to be. How did Indigenous Tourism Quebec start this conversation, get it going? Is it the first time?
It's almost the first time because everything started with a trade mission that the Ministère du Tourisme du Québec wanted to do with Belgium and all the French Europe. So they invited us last year to be part of the big Brussels Christmas market called Plaisir d'Hiver or Winterfest in English. So they asked us to be present as guest of honors last year. And since we didn't have enough time to prepare everything for the whole 5 weeks, we went last year with a couple of artists for just a week, just to make sure, like a little bit of recon there. And just to be prepared this year to be there for the whole 5 weeks and to invite artists from each nation in Quebec. And like you said before the podcast, we had Leilani and we also had Owen, the dancer from Ganawaki. Owen was really the main event while he was there last week. So everyone gathered each night to see Owen and his wife, Queena, dance with their son. It was pretty awesome.
I could only imagine.
Yeah.
I wanted to also ask Leilani about her experience, going to Europe, going to Belgium, what it was like and having your art.
Yeah. So it was a pretty amazing experience, I will have to say, with Indigenous Tourism Quebec. They were very, very hospitable and helpful. They booked all my accommodations, so I didn't have to worry about that, which is, I think, as an artist, just being involved in the creative aspect it's very rare for that to happen because a lot of the time as an artist who's doing a project, you're so much involved in the admin, especially a huge project where we're going all the way to Europe I was there for 10 days. It's a lot of logistics. So I was very happy that Indigenous Tourism Quebec was able to take that on. But for myself and the actual artwork, so I had a 7-minute projection mapping video that's going to be playing every night. So essentially what projection mapping is kind of like if you take a projector and you put it on the side of a building or on the side of like a wall or something, but it has very specific dimensions, and normally the artwork that you have is animated. It doesn't have to be animated, but in this case it was. And yeah, it's supposed to either interact with the architecture and other things, because a lot of the projection mapping that I have done in the past has been done on buildings of various sizes. And you have to account for the architecture and like, you know, you're not working on a completely smooth surface that's white.
And like windows.
Exactly. So you have to account for the windows, the shadows, different angles. If it's like a not smooth surface. So every projection mapping is so unique. And it was my first time doing projection mapping, not in Montreal. And no, it was very, very, very beautiful. I was a little nervous. I think the working culture in Europe itself is just a little bit different than I would say Canada or North America. So they're very direct. Which in my case, I was like, I'm going to cry if they come at me again. And, you know, and it was just a difference in working culture, but nothing rude was said, but they're very direct and it can come off.
The tone is different.
It's very, very different than what I'm used to, but no harm, no foul. And it was a really, really, really great event.
So can you tell us about your piece?
Sure. So I had a 7-minute video, which is pretty long. I didn't do the video alone. So I did all of the animated artwork. So I worked in vectors, if people know what that is. So it's like I can scale it as big or as small as I would like in what's the word I'm looking for? The resolution doesn't really change. So that's kind of what my role was. I was able to hire an animator to actually animate the project. I don't really have experience with animation, so I outsourced that. And in the same... To add to the projection mapping, Tourism Quebec also was able to coordinate a audio composer. So he was also Indigenous.
Any shout out?
Yeah, his name is Nicholas Ottawa. And he was able to compose a 7-minute audio piece specifically for this. He was able to get someone in the recording booth and do some recordings. And it's very, very, very well done. And the timeline I did, and like my animator and the audio composer did the whole projection mapping video was insane to me. I was first contacted for this in October.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, okay, yeah, we have a project to do in Brussels in November. And I thought they meant November of 2024. And they're like, no, in 5 weeks.
Oh,
and
so
I was like, okay.
You did it in just a 5-week period.
Yeah. And I had a vacation booked in the meantime. So I told them that. I was like, I'm going away. I won't be able to work on it during this time. They're like, that's fine. We met the deadlines. It was right till the last minute.
True. My style.
Exactly. Time is not a concept we care about or understand. But it was really grateful to have other Indigenous people to be able to advocate for me. 2 people in Brussels, because they're just like, she's going to do it. Relax. Trust her. We believe in her. That's why we hired her. And it's going to be great. So yeah, it was really cool.
Awesome.
So how did you get involved in that type of artwork?
Projection mapping?
Yeah.
It's so strange. Actually, Kiana Cross randomly told me to apply for, I think it was a project with Map Montreal. And so I did. So I honestly want to thank her for kind of opening these doors for me and telling me to apply. I think it was like a job or something, or I don't remember what it was, but I didn't end up getting it. But they liked my portfolio that I sent them. And they're like, it's really great. We want you to do a really small projection mapping piece for Mural Festival. So I was able to do that. It was only one day. It was really cool. It was an interactive type thing that I went and I animated on my iPad, and whatever I did on my iPad was projected onto the walls. So it was very interactive. They had a DJ. It was really cool. And then from that, I continued to work with Map Montreal doing larger scale projects. I was able to do a projection mapping project at the Saint Laurent Metro. So that was a more longer term piece. I think it was every evening for about 2 months or definitely a month. So that was a couple of illustrations that I did. And I'm still not into animation. So they kind of outsourced another animator to animate those pieces, and kind of it makes artwork more interesting and more interactive, as it's not still. It has like a life to it and a personality beyond just still images. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into that. And then I just kept working with Map Montreal on, different, I think I've done 4 pieces with them all throughout the city, all different variations, lengths, subject matter, different animators. So it's been really cool. So I think just from that, I guess, experience, someone from Indigenous Tourism Quebec heard my name and then just reached out.
Yeah, that's what I want to know, Pierre. How did you guys find Leilani? Like, did you guys just see her on like Instagram, or how did that happen?
I don't know. It's not me, but we have a list of good contacts for tech for Indigenous Tourism Quebec. So I don't know about Leilani, who found her, but it was a real good piece, a real good catch.
You're such a fisherman.
Yeah. But for Owen, I know that we just did like a photo shoot with Owen a couple of weeks back this fall to combine like the city of Montreal and traditional culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easy to ask Owen to do that because we already knew that he was a good dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And Leilani, I don't know where you're coming from, but thanks for being there.
She's pretty awesome. Yeah, no, I think when they paired up for the photo shoot in Montreal, they had reached out to our office, the tourism office, and we gave some numbers, and I put out like a call out. Any dancers interested in doing this photo shoot? And Owen was one of them. So I'm really happy,
nice.
Like, where that little connection led, because it's important to highlight that. You don't know where you're going to go and where your path is going to end up. And, one little opportunity might lead you to going to Europe and having projection mapping on a building.
Exactly. So, I would definitely say that to kind of any artist is try to do as many opportunities as you can.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know where it's going to lead you. And I would just say, like, do the best work that you possibly can, because, word of mouth is it's like worth its weight in gold in an artist industry.
Mm-hmm.
That people, when you do something that people really resonate with or whatever else, like, it gets you places and it gets you to other job opportunities or other art opportunities in the future.
I think one thing I want to ask you still too, Leilani, is what was it about your art? Right. What was the story?
Yeah. So they kind of gave me a theme-ish. So I can kind of just to backtrack, the original artist that was intended to be in this program wasn't able to do it. There was something that came up, so she wasn't able to move forward. So I don't know if it was her that recommended me or if it was someone in the inner circle that heard my name. So when they got to me, they're like, okay, this was the theme, I guess, that was pre-approved. And it was just supposed to be on like the 4 seasons.
Okay.
And I kind of was able to interpret that however I wanted to. So what that looked like for me was like 4 seasons. And I just went with like the 4 directions. So like Gayarini Gawardage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of able to do my kind of artistic interpretation of what each season holds or teachings from each one or what I think would look cool.
Awesome. There. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see the whole thing. I hope that you're going to share a piece with us and we can maybe put it with the recording.
Yeah, I have a video. It's already on YouTube, so I can send you like a link where you can see it.
Cool.
And it was really, really amazing to kind of see the grand unveiling, because I don't know, they told me how many people were there each day. So just one more thing is, so my projection mapping is playing every single night from November 24th to January 4th. So it plays every night from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., every hour on the hour. And then on the weekend, it's every half hour. So 5 shows during the week and then 10 shows on the weekend. Yeah. And I think each weekend, the winter market in Brussels is huge. So they have like hundreds and hundreds of stands that are selling like all different types of food, hot chocolate. They have mulled wine. That was the first time I've ever had mulled wine before. And it was pretty good. Like the alcohol content is like super low, so it doesn't really taste like it, but it's like fruit juice. Yeah. But yeah, they had like so many different things to do. They had like oyster bars and like champagne bars, like on these little stalls. They had like a skating rink. And I think, as it was explained to me, is Brussels itself, it's very rainy and it doesn't get a lot of snow. So I think they have a little bit of snow envy. So at least for my video, they're like, make it Christmas. And I'm just like, I'm doing the 4 seasons. How am I going to fit Christmas in here? But I did my best. They added some elements of like snow and the Northern Lights. So, that's Christmas enough for me.
I guess, Pierre, I wanted to also ask you, tell us a little bit more about the market and how Indigenous Tourism Quebec is doing different showcases, such as Leilani's artwork and Owen and his family doing dancing. What else did you guys have there?
Yeah,
or do you still going on?
Yeah. So first I was going to say, I don't know about Leilani because we weren't there at the same time, but I was there until last Friday, and the place that we call La Grande Place which is like the biggest square in the middle of the city where Leilani representation happens. It was still packed until like last Friday. Everyone is there, like 1,000 of people there at the Grand Place. And we also have like probably the biggest tree in the city in the center of the Grand Place, decorated by the Mi'kmaq Nation. So they prepared all the ornaments for the big tree, and everything is there until like the end of December, which is really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and I spoke with one of the people from Indigenous Tourism Quebec, and I think they're able to track how many people were in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, and what they told me, they said on the weekend during the opening and like the following days afterwards, I think 20,000 people showed up.
Wow.
To each of the showcasings of my work. So that's really cool. I did not expect.
It's crazy.
I didn't expect there to be that many people, but I think they told me from when it first started, so November 24th to the end, which is in first week of January, about like 3.4 million people go through that winter market.
And they're people from not just Belgium area, like they're also travelers going through, correct? I guess.
Yeah. We have a lot of it's a lot of Germans there, Belgian people, and we met a lot of people who were coming from London, in England. So it's really people from everywhere, because some people say there that it's the biggest Christmas market in the world. I know that they have some big ones also in Germany, but like I said, some people say that it's the biggest Christmas market in the world.
And what does that mean for Indigenous Tourism Quebec to be there? What are the benefits?
Yeah, but first, the crazy thing is that for Winterfest, Plaisir d'Hiver, it's the first time that they didn't invite a whole country as a guest of honor. So it's really the first time that they just invited Indigenous nations as guest of honor, which is like a big thing.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So we were so happy that they just didn't invite like the whole Canada or the province of Quebec, but just the Indigenous nation of the province of Quebec, which is big. And for us, we already do like promotion of Indigenous tourism in the French Europe. We have been doing that for a while. So it's just like maybe the biggest promotion that we ever made. And you were asking before what we do there. The other thing will be that each week we fly in some dancers, singers, people who do conference, some arts and craft. So each week we switch nations. So last week we had Owen as a Mohawk and Queen of the Atikamek. This week we have a Ninu Shawit, the singer, and another Atikamek. So each week we bring people in from each nation, which is again really nice.
It is. It gives such a huge opportunity, and for some people who have never traveled all the way there too.
Exactly.
And for us to have that exposure, of our culture being shown and portrayed properly.
Yes, exactly.
And will this, this event, this experience open doors to draw tourism to Indigenous communities in Quebec?
Yeah, sure. We also have like a small cabin there. We have the big tent, which is called the Chapoutoine, where all the dances and the singing happen. But we also have like a little cabin where we promote Indigenous tourism with our magazine. We have a map of Quebec with all the communities on the map. So we have a lot of people asking when they're going to come in Quebec. They want to visit some Indigenous communities. So it opened a lot of doors. Yes.
Did you guys bring those virtual reality goggles?
No, it's too complicated. but we have a big TV rolling like 24/7 there with our nicest video of everything. Like Leilani said, our video portrays like the 4 seasons of Quebec. So we have like Indigenous tourism activities from each season on the big TV. So that's cool. And we also brought some items to sell there from different artists in Quebec. And we have like maple syrup, some Inuit tea, moccasins from Wendake. And I think the best seller there is the beer from the Ganawagi Brewing Company.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You're hosting the brewery company there too.
Yeah. We brought, I think, 4 different kinds of beer from the brewing company, and it's almost sold out. So
and I think Drew from the brewing company is there right now.
I don't know. Is he?
Yeah, I believe so. I saw on his Facebook. Yeah. So maybe we'll have to bring him in too next time.
Yeah. We have so many artists there. I cannot keep
track.
There was a lot. At least when I was there, I was one of the artists. They had Carl, I forget his last name, But Carl and his wife Carol, they were making a birch bark canoe. They made that from scratch, and like they're young elders. It was so funny because Carl is he's very chit chatty, so like he would get distracted, like someone would ask him a question, and he's like, he's really invested in the conversation.
He gets into the story and he's not really making the canoe.
I know, and then like he's like, I need to come in early tomorrow. I need to make up time. And then
and Carl is an Anishinaabe from I think the Timiskaming.
Yeah, he's from Timiskaming.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking with Patricia, the general manager from Indigenous Tourism Quebec this morning. She's in Brussels as we speak, and they just gave away the birch bark canoe to the mayor of Brussels this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yes. So the canoe will stay in Brussels, maybe in a museum or something like that. But it was officially given to Belgium this morning.
Wow.
As a gift, yeah.
So Pierre, do you think that this, the winter markets, that it's something that TAC is going to continue to attend from time to come?
I don't think so, because it's like a big one-time thing when they invite a nation or a country. I'm pretty sure that we will go back a little bit, but not with such a
so big delegation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would love to go back, and I'm pretty sure that the countries that were invited before still have some maybe a booth or a cat in there when the market comes, but we didn't hear anything yet.
Just on a smaller scale, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe we just could try another Christmas market since this one worked out so well.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Like, if I make a suggestion, I would love to see tourism with New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
I visited there a year ago and it was amazing.
We attended, I don't know, Pierre, if you were at that conference, but the Indigenous Tourism Canada conference, I believe, last year.
Yes, I was there.
And I don't know if she's the director of tourism, but from New Zealand. And she had given like the closing remarks for the conference. And she was so inspiring. And I had spoken to her a little bit afterwards, and I got her business card, and I definitely want to connect with her and get us going and have that conversation, because I want to go there too.
Yeah, exactly. But I hope we're not recorded, and don't tell anyone, but I think we will go soon as Indigenous Tourism Quebec. We'll go on a trade mission there, just like you said, to be inspired by them.
Take me with you, Pierre.
Take me as a plus one.
Cool. Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's pretty amazing, all the work that Indigenous Tourism Quebec is doing and the opportunities they're opening for the different artists to get out there and getting that exposure for our communities, so our tourism can grow. It's just fantastic. So I thank you for coming on the show today, Pierre, and giving us all that extra info, joining us all the way from Quebec City. And Leilani, I thank you also for coming in today. It was really, really great hearing your experience. And I'm so happy that you had this opportunity, and I can't wait to watch the whole video. I only saw tidbits of it on your Instagram.
Yeah, I'll show you after. But no, it was so amazing to do and see. And I think one of my favorite parts of the whole experience was that I was able to also have a fellow Kwakaratón participate, because Fallon she lives there with her boyfriend, and it's not far from Brussels, about like an hour, and she was able to come and bring her daughters, and it was so amazing to have her part of that. And I think she was even telling her boyfriend, my friend has something happening on the Grand Place, on Hotel de Ville, which is City Hall. And he's like, no, it can't be there. And she's like, I think it is there.
She's pretty important.
Yeah. So it was so fun to have her participate. I
have somebody from home while you're so far away.
And I hopefully vice versa with her. Hopefully I was able to bring a piece of Mohawk.
Yeah, she must have enjoyed it, having the Indigenous delegation there and experiencing it, being so far away from home.
Exactly.
Cool. You have any more questions, Greg?
No, I think you guys covered it, and it sounds like a great event that's ongoing, and sounds like a great experience. And I do know Leilani is a very talented artist, so congrats.
Thank you.
And I cannot wait to hear from Owen about his experience. So I guess you'll add him on the next podcast or something like that?
Yeah, we're hoping to bring Owen in. We'll edit it into this podcast.
Okay.
All right. And thank you very much, everybody. And hope you guys enjoyed this episode of
Kwakaratón. Oh, no.
No.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Pierre. So, continuing our conversation that we had with Leilani and Pierre, we're in studio now with Owen Mayo, who was also at the winter markets in Belgium. And I wanted to bring him in to have his experience, talk about what it was like, how he was contacted, and welcome, Owen.
Yeah, Wako. It's an honor to be here.
So first, introduce yourself, Owen, and let us know who you are.
Perfect. So my name's Owen Skayuhuyo Mayo. I lived in Ganawage my entire life, basically. I've been dancing since a very young age, and today I travel throughout North America and competing and dancing in some of the biggest powwows that our Turtle Island has to offer.
Cool. So what was it like going all the way to Belgium?
Definitely an incredible experience. Overall, it's hard to put into words. It was very overwhelming at times, beautiful. We had a very the people there were very welcoming and very respectful to our culture, which made things a lot easier, you know. As being an Indigenous presenter, there has been times where ignorance is very present in our presentations. I'm grateful that my children never had to experience that yet. I hope they never do. And that was something I was worried about, being on the other side of the world and, you know, with very little understanding of who we are. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking, but overall it was truly a beautiful experience being there.
So let's maybe we can go through like what was a day like while you were there, because you were there for how many days?
We were there for 11 days total, 13 days combined with our travel days. So our average day just was basically getting up, getting ready. We got to explore a little bit.
Nice.
And then depending on which day it was, some days we did 3 presentations and then other days we did 2. By the end, we were just doing 1 per night, the last 2 nights, I believe. So we got to experience everything Brussels, I should say, has to offer there. You know, we got to learn about chocolate and why they became such a mass producer and why their chocolate's so legendary. Got to learn a lot about the history. Very old city, very old city at 927. And that's like mind blowing to like hear that 927. So the energies in the city that part was overwhelming. At times you can really feel how ancient it was. But it definitely, you know, a lot of pride being on the other side of the world, teaching our truths, you know, as dancers and then singers, you know, we use that as to get people into our presentations. I'm not sure if anybody ever actually got to see our full presentations, but we speak a lot about residential school. We speak a lot about our survivors. We speak a lot about missing, murdered Indigenous women. We speak a lot about the truth of our history, you know, and we make sure that they understand of who we are and where we come from. And the dancing is just something extra that we do, you know. But my main goal in doing these presentations is to allow people to understand the truth and beauty of our people and not just the Peter Pan Indian they may think that exists.
So did your kids get to dance as well?
Yeah, so my children did dance. My oldest son, Nash, danced with us every presentation. He was a great help for us. He showcased smoke dance and men's traditional. We brought in some powwow dances in there also, so they can understand a little bit of how majority of the nations today are celebrating together. My youngest did dance, of course, just in their street clothes, as we were in a tent outside. But it wasn't very cold, obviously, for 3
Not
to
as
5-year-old.
cold as
Yeah,
here.
no. And it's funny we say that because it made me understand, being there made me understand so much more about who we are and how much power we have with our lands. You know, when we showed up, it rained every single day when we were there, +1 to +7. And, you know, obviously hearing the stories and and listening to those oral traditions on how much we did help these first explorers because they had no idea of the harsh climate that we truly do live in. We showed up when we landed, it was 0, I believe, or +1. And there was a little bit of snowflakes coming down, like very light, and our taxi driver is like, it's safe what? Hey, it's cold. And they're like,
You're like,
I'm like, it's, joking around. No, it's summertime. Will you have a pool? To make a joke, But it truly made me like have so much more respect. Not that I never respected our people. Of course, I have a lot of respect for our ancestors and honor our ancestors. But it truly made me understand how strong we truly were to help these people survive in these climates. And it was like, wow, now I understand it, And not only that, when we were in our regalia, we were treated with utmost respect, lots of respect. We were gifted many different carvings and ancient medicines that they had before their, I guess, colonization, before Christianity really took over there. So, yeah, I lost where I was at for a second.
You were gifted a lot of things.
Oh, we were, yeah. So we were gifted a lot of things. And, it made me truly see how much influence our people had within Canada. Our people are so respectful here. When we had, that's where I was. When we had our regalia on, we were treated with so much respect. But as soon as the street clothes came back on, the people are very to themselves and not worried about many other people. They try to walk through you on the streets. They do not say, excuse me. They do not say sorry. They bump into you and they
Not
just
like
look.
many Canadians here.
No, exactly. And that made me truly think, it was like proof for me of how much influence we had on our ways of life and how we treat everyone equally with respect and with love, And it was like, yeah, that's our doing. That's definitely our doing.
Wow, that's quite a perspective. And, and quite a takeaway, from traveling so far. And it's really amazing that you got to experience it and share it with your family and your kids at such a young age. And I'm so happy that you got to do that.
Thank you. It was beyond my expectations. Everything went great.
So I guess maybe for anybody out there who's maybe up and coming, who wants to be maybe a dancer or a presenter, like what you and Queena do, what's some advice that maybe you have for them?
Stick with it. Keep dancing. Be respectful. Show your pride. Show your strength. Don't be worried about what other people have to say to you. I know dancing in these presentations isn't for everybody, and I understand that some people may be against it even, but being able to do that and being able to share the truths and having those true teachings for the people where they come up to you and truly let you know of how much they're learning and pointing them in the direction of, I'm only human. I don't know everything. I was always told by the elders is keep a child's mind. Never think you're too old to stop learning. Always want to learn, and always be willing to teach. And that's how our people are so strong and so smart. But yeah, just really honestly, just stick with it. Stick with it and be proud of what you do, because our grandparents couldn't do what we are doing. And in a way, with how the world was created, how this world ended up to be, I'm pretty sure our ancestors would be quite proud of us we're living in a world that wasn't built for us, but being able to survive within what they have continued to pass down through the generations. So,
well, nyawa goa.
Yo.
Nyawa for coming on our show.
Definitely.
Taking your time out of your day and, sharing your experience with us. And I hope that you can share some pictures with us. We'll put on our podcast too. And people can see.
Definitely.
And nyawa koa zewagwego for listening in today.
Nyawa.
The views and opinions of the guests expressed in this podcast do not reflect those of Udiwase and its employees.